On Halloween of 1970, I took my first acid trip. I took two huge tablets of yellow barrel acid, which later I was to find some friends of mine had had the same batch, but they'd only taken a half a tab and tripped their brains out. I tripped for 3 days and nights, and it was magical, transformative, and terrifying because I thought I was never going to come down again and be normal. It did finally wear off after 3 days without sleep. The one reason I took the acid was because my friends and I were driving from Stratford, Connecticut to Portchester, New York, to the Capitol Theater to see the band Traffic, who were playing songs from their John Barleycorn Must Die album. That music, along with the entheogen, sent me on a cosmic journey, which in some ways I've never come back from, because it plunged me into the cosmos and made me realize that life is so much more than anyone had ever told me in my little WASP New England town. In many ways, I never returned. I just kept going. I hitchhiked to California. I became an astrologer, world traveler, a musician, and a writer, and a poet. And in the 1990s, about 20 years later, I saw Traffic a second time in California, and they were selling a pamphlet on the history of the band, which I bought. And I learned that back in the day when I'd first seen them, they all lived together in a house in the English countryside where they dropped acid and they jammed for days on end while keeping the tape recorders rolling. When they came down, they listened to what they had created, and at certain places, they paused the tapes and said, "There, that's a song." And they would extract a portion of it and polish the music and lyrics. And that was how they came up with all their songs and all their albums, which makes sense when you think that every time Traffic came out of the studio, they didn't only have a new album, they had a new genre. But they didn't say that. They didn't make a big production of it. There wasn't anything called World Fusion at that time, but they were effortlessly, the way that strong LSD can do, crossing jazz with rhythm and blues and folk and soul and bluegrass and classical. And it tickled me to realize that my first cosmic odyssey was sponsored by musicians who were creating their songs the same way. Flash forward another 20 years, in around 2008 or so, I got to spend a couple hours with Stevie Winwood. And I said to him, "I heard back in the day, you guys all got together and dropped acid and jammed, and that was how you came up with all your songs." And he looked at me and said, "That's still how we do it."